Unitarian Universalist Church. Davies Church was founded during the time that A. Powell Davies was the lead minister of All Souls Church Unitarian in Washington, D.C. From its inception over 50 years ago, in the effort to live the words of the Reverend Davies, the founders of our church began what has become a long tradition of social justice activism. In this tradition, we have avowed ourselves to be a welcoming, racially and ethnically diverse congregation. We are here today to install a minister who is dedicated to working with us to continue this effort and to be a voice in our community that speaks of openness, acceptance, welcome, and love. Thank you for joining with us today for the installation and celebration of our new settled minister, the Reverend Natalie Maxwell Fenimore. Welcome. And if you would all rise as you are able in spirit or body to join in the processional hymn number 358. The words are in your order of service.
My name is Isis Johnson, and I have been a member of Davies since 2004. The fall of 2004 to be precise. And in that time, I've been fortunate enough to be part of and bear witness to the kindness, ingenuity, solidarity, and strength of this spiritual community. I've learned here, grown here, gained friendships, and been supported here in this place. So, when I was asked to consider joining the Davies Search Committee to assist in our search for a new minister, it was fairly easy for me to say yes. To invest in what Davies is and assist in the progression of what we could become. Yes was the right answer. I later said yes to being the committee chair.
There you go.
Now, our journey through the search process began in the spring of 2010, and looking back, I have no shame in admitting to you that when I gave that initial yes, I had very little knowledge of what I had just gotten myself into. A common catchphrase comes to mind: you think you know, but you have no idea. Our search process lasted for 2 years and was not without its challenges. Search can be a long, heartbreaking, and anxiety-producing process, both for the search committee and the congregation at large. But in that process, there was also healing. There was the sharing of fears, hopes, and dreams. There was laughter, joy, and always the belief that no matter the outcome, we would get through it together. I would like to acknowledge the other members of the search committee who tirelessly devoted their time, energy, and resources. If you're here, please stand. Jean Smith, Angel Savoy James, Joyce Dowling, David Fenton, Preston Mears, Rosalind Winard, and Robert Willis. Thank you for your service. Lastly, I'd like to say that the search process simply reaffirmed what I already knew to be true, that Davies is a special place. We are different, we don't always agree, but we are similar in that we love this church. We are similar in the way that we care for each other and support one another. So it is with great pleasure that I stand here as a member of Davies, as part of a congregation who unanimously voted to call the Reverend Natalie Maxwell Fenimore as our next settled minister, and I am overjoyed that she accepted. I will now read a letter from the Reverend Peter Morales, President of the UUA. Dear Natalie, I would like to offer my congratulations to you and all the people of Davies Memorial Unitarian Universalist Church on your installation as a new minister. You and I have been fortunate enough to work closely in the past, and it is clear to me that you are a pragmatic visionary and a person of deep spirituality. I have seen the wisdom and respect you bring to leadership in your work as president of the Liberal Religious Educators Association, and previously in the UUA's anti-racism and anti-oppression efforts through the Journey Towards Wholeness Transformation Committee. When Natalie speaks, our colleagues say, you know you are in the presence of a leader. They also speak highly of your compassion and dedication, especially evidenced in your mentoring, commitment to professional development, and, as I might expect from a master-level credentialed religious educator, your direction of strong religious education programs. Natalie, you are a great asset to Unitarian Universalism and the wider world, and I look forward to seeing where you and Davies Memorial will go together. On this occasion, I extend not only my personal best wishes and congratulations, but also those on behalf of my colleagues here in the UUA. In faith, the Reverend Peter Morales, President of the Unitarian Universalist Association. Now, at this time, I would like to introduce the following guests to join me at the mic so that they may give their greetings in turn. Gabrielle Farrell, representing the Liberal Religious Educators Association, Paula Cole-Jones from the Joseph Priestley District, and the Reverend Richard Speck, District Executive of the Joseph Priestley District.
Oh, thank you very much. I would not like to catch fire in front of you, that detract from Natalie's day. Good afternoon. My name is Gabrielle Farrell, and I serve the River Road Unitarian Universalist congregation as its Director of Children's Ministry. As its immediate past Vice President, I bring greetings from the Liberal Religious Educators Association, affectionately referred to as Loretta. The Reverend Natalie Fenimore serves as our current president, an organization that promotes the religious growth and learning of people of all ages and advocates for and supports religious educators and the field of liberal religious education. It was the first of the religious professional organizations to declare itself an anti-racist, anti-oppression, welcoming organization, and with its brother and sister religious professionals, strives to weave those practices into our work as individuals and as leaders in our congregations. Loretta understands that congregations that have strong religious education programs demonstrate growth, but perhaps more importantly, vitality. Loretta continues to be that place that uniquely lifts this congregational ministry up and reminds us that nothing must be wasted. Worship, social justice, fellowship, and religious education. All ministries must be embraced for us to grow and thrive. Natalie's work with Loretta allows her to be engaged with the continental challenges and blessings of our faith tradition, which in turn informs her leadership and ministry here in this single congregation, Davies Memorial. We are at an unprecedented time of religious professional leadership, having Natalie, a parish minister, serving as president of Loretta, and the Reverend Linda Olson-Peebles, the lead religious educator in her congregation in Arlington, Virginia, serving as the president of the Unitarian Universalist Minister Association. I am looking forward to what magic might happen there and here at this congregation. Congratulations, you all.
Good afternoon. I bring greetings from the Joseph Priestley District of the Unitarian Universalist community, and in particular from the racial and social justice community. Congratulations to you, Reverend Fenimore, and to all who work to make this moment possible. To the Ministerial Search Committee, I have been where you are. We have where you were. We have great respect for your commitment of time, and we thank you for your service to this community. We are always creating history. You are beginning a new chapter in the history of this congregation. To Reverend Fenimore and to your family, an important part of your ministry, congratulations on your call and on this new ministry. I've gotten to know Reverend Fenimore over the years, and she brings a depth and breadth of experience to her ministry that will enrich this community. Her experience as a longtime member of a Unitarian Universalist congregation, also as a mother and wife whose children have been raised in the UU community, as the director of religious education, and who has served a multitude of families and watched children grow into young adults. And as a person who has served in national positions, which you have heard about, and now as the minister of this congregation, Natalie has a lot to contribute. And you, as a congregation, you have a very important story to tell about the transformation of community, one that is committed to inclusion and to building and modeling the beloved community. You are an example that can inspire others who want to build sustainable, multicultural, multi-generational communities. We applaud your vision, your courage, and your persistence in making that vision a reality. We're here for you, and we look forward to the unfolding of the next chapter of your ministry together.
Well, it looks like I'm adding cleanup here. After having had the letter from our president, Peter Morales, and then from Gabrielle, and then from Paula, there's not much more I could say in the way of greetings, other than to say that you may not know that at one time, Natalie was one of my bosses when she served on the JPD board. And at that time, I came to know her in her leadership capacity that when she spoke, we better listen. And so I will commend that to you as well, that when she speaks, listen to her. I have seen her grow in her ministry over the 12 years I've been the district executive. I've seen you grow in your ministry over the 12 years that I've been the district executive. I cannot think of a better marriage between minister and congregation. And I know my colleagues are saying, what about us? You have good marriages too. So from the standpoint of bringing greetings on behalf of all of those who have spoken, we are just tickled pink to be able to be here and help you celebrate that the Davies Memorial Unitarian Universalist Congregation is installing the Reverend Natalie Maxwell Fenimore. Well done.
Thank you all. And lastly, I wanted to recognize two people who could not be here today, and that would be Ms. Ellen Cox and also Keith Cron, who were instrumental in helping us get through the search process. Thank you.
We light the chalice today in celebration and gratitude for this day, for this installation, with these words by the Reverend Bill Seaford. Spirit of life and love, dear God of all nations, there is so much work to do. We have only begun to imagine justice and mercy. Help us hold fast to our vision of what can be. May we see the hope in our history and find the courage and the voice to work for that constant rebirth of freedom and justice. That is our dream. May the bright flame of this dream live in our hearts and our minds and our hands on this day and on all the days to come, and may the bright flame of that dream live in this congregation, in this shared ministry of you with the Reverend Natalie Maxwell Fenimore.
to tell you a story called The Rabbi's Gift, and it's by Dr. F. Scott Peck. And the story concerns a monastery that had fallen upon hard times. Once it had been a great order, but as a result of waves of anti-monastic persecution and the rise of secularism in the 19th century, it had been decimated to the point that all that remained were 5 monks in the mother house, the abbot and 4 brothers, and they were all over the age of 70. Clearly, it was a dying order. Now, in the deep woods surrounding the monastery, there was a little hut that a rabbi from a nearby town occasionally used as a retreat. And through many years of prayer and contemplation, somehow maybe the monks developed a psychic sense, but they always seemed to know when the rabbi was in residence in his retreat, and they'd say to one another, "The rabbi is in the woods. The rabbi is here again." And they would whisper. So while the abbot was agonizing over the state of the order at one such occasion, it occurred to him to wonder if the rabbi had any advice for him, might be able to offer some advice that might save the monastery. So the rabbi welcomed the abbot at his hut, but when the abbot explained the purpose of his visit, the rabbi could only commiserate with him. "I know how it is that hardly anybody comes to the synagogue in town anymore. It's almost as though that spirit has gone out of the people." So the old abbot and the old rabbi wept together, and they read parts of the Torah together, and they spoke of deep things. And then when the time came, the abbot had to leave. They embraced goodbye, and the abbot said, "It is so wonderful that we have gotten to meet after all this time. But I've still failed in my purpose for coming here. Are you sure you don't have any advice for us on how to save the monastery?" "No, I'm sorry," said the rabbi. "I have no advice to give. The only thing I can tell you is that the Messiah is one of you." When the abbot returned to the monastery, his fellow monks gathered around him to ask, "What did the rabbi say? What did he say?" "He couldn't help," the abbot said. "We just wept and read the Torah together. The only thing he did say as I was leaving was very cryptic, but he said that the Messiah is one of us." I don't know what he meant. But in the days and weeks and months that followed, the old monks pondered this and wondered whether there was any possible significance to the rabbi's words. The Messiah is one of us? Could he possibly have meant one of us monks here at the monastery? Well, if that's the case, which one? Might have been the abbot. Father Abbot is a wonderful leader. He has been the leader of this monastery for more than a generation. Yes, it might have been him. But then there's Brother Thomas. Everyone knows he's a holy man. Maybe is it Brother Thomas? Surely it's not Brother Allred. He can get crotchety at times. But you know, even when he's upsetting people, he's almost always right. Sometimes very right. Perhaps could he be the Messiah? Or could he have meant Brother Philip? Surely not Brother Philip. Philip is so passive and almost a nobody. But then again, he has the mysterious habit of showing up, almost mysteriously, showing up right by your side when you need him. Could he be the Messiah? Could that be possible? Surely the rabbi didn't mean me. I'm just an ordinary person.
Suppose the rabbi meant me. Oh, Lord, I couldn't be that much for you, could I? And as they contemplated in this manner, the old monks began to treat each other with extraordinary respect. On the off chance that one of them among them might actually really be the Messiah. And on the off chance that each monk himself might be the Messiah, they each began to treat themselves with extraordinary respect. Now, because the forest in which it was situated was so beautiful, as it happened, people still came to the monastery to visit. They would picnic on the lawn, walk on the path, and sometimes even meditate in the dilapidated old chapel. And as they did so, without even being conscious of it, they began to sense that aura of extraordinary respect. And they responded to it without even realizing it. And they came more often, and they would bring their friends to this special place. And their friends would bring friends, and hardly knowing why. And then after a while, it happened that some of the younger men began to speak more and more with the older monks.